What is up, dear YouTube viewers? Haven't been making any videos. I don't know if the first strike has damaged the channel. I think YouTube's not recommending my newest uploads, so I want to keep loading until I don't have patience for it. Because I notice the viewers drop. Still have the same subscribers, but I don't know how many of them are aware that I just made a new video. I only seen like one viewer, but anyway, that's irrelevant to the video. Maybe in my last videos they haven't been quite impressive because I try to really downplay it as have a strong mindset. When I mean strong mindset, just be positive with your own self and just do what you can. But I haven't been feeling quite well mentally. Been feeling not necessarily depressed, just super numb. Like I had no more fulfillment, no more desires. It seemed like there was no more enjoyment. Even on the weekends, I wasn't like I was just working out, going home, and that's it. The same routine, same routine. I didn't even feel like going to friends' gatherings, parties, you name it. Vacation still has a little bit of amusing into my lifestyle, but traveling can be quite boring if you just go on your own or your family members. But that's not the same. You want to go with your friends or you want to experience love. Yes, I've been preaching a lot of mgtow. Mgtow is actually something that I kind of oblige to it because I like the style. I'm not a bitter guy. Like I have been meeting women because I decided to make my final decision yet. Do I think women there's good women? Absolutely not. No, there's no perfect women. There's no more such. There was never, a lot of people made it into this fantasy of the trad wife. I never really believe it. I even went back to like the 1950s, did a lot of research. There's a YouTuber which I don't remember his name. It's been a while. He's from a different country. He makes pretty good videos, and he's been reading a lot of the 1930s how women used to rise. So either way, neither men or women are loyal. None of them are really considered perfect husband or perfect wife. So that's out of my system. I stopped believing that for a while. A lot of my questions were being answered, and I just didn't know what was going on with me. Like I was not enjoying myself. Even my cousin, the cousin that I visited in Mexico, and he came back with me to the U.S. because he wanted a vacation. He kept noticing that I was doing all right for myself. He noticed that I was kind of like, yeah, like I was working out, I was reading, I was doing this and that, and he's like, "Say, cousin, I noticed that you're not doing quite well for yourself. You seem kind of not necessarily down. That you say I can tell there's something bothering you. There's something that it's not just you. You're not the guy that I used to know, even if I was very young at the time, because like nobody really changes their personality. Yeah, yeah, you grow up, you become more mature, but you're still the same old you from the time I met you. I told him everything was fine. I was being deluded for a while, and I took a notice in last August, even in my birthday. I was not even happy, even when I celebrated. Um, Technically, it was boring. My 31st birthday kind of had me more in my thoughts more than anything else because I was just thinking about, holy cow, I'm already 31. My 20s wasn't necessarily the best years of my life. Being brainwashed by religion, believing a lot of fantasies. On top of that, had to pursue my college career because I picked the wrong college career because I was a people pleaser. I just felt like I haven't accomplished anything. I felt like at times you do feel like you're a loser or you just haven't done anything. Even though you work, even though you made a good salary, even if you accomplish other things that other people haven't done it besides graduating college. But there was something in me that it wasn't enough. I was becoming numb. Like I would be waking up, going to work, but I had no enjoyment, even like eating my food or friend gatherings or even if you're not going you don't plan to marry, you don't plan to date or anything, but let's say you hook up or whatever. Because I've been if you guys been watching the late some of Tiana streams, shout out to Duber Down. I do appreciate him for doing those for a while because I think he's pretty quite an interesting guy. He has some very good intakes on certain topics. But anyway, I mentioned about a specific girl, and like yes, I'm mgtow and everything, but there's times where you got to make sure that's what you really want to go to. Yeah, like you watch a couple videos and of mgtow, and they make some very good sense, and they try to give you the best advice. Because honestly, a lot of men have been broken. I think a lot of us men are extremely destroyed and broken. Let's say you're not misogynistic or you're not like part of the right ideology, which I'm not. Nice study it. Like I know everything from the far left and from the far right, but a lot of men are broken. Even if there's men that are not bitter in life, but they're broken because a lot of the times how we grew up was millennial men are broken. I'm not. I'm going to be straight honest. We're broken because we didn't have our boomer parents or Gen X parents grew up in a different time where they also lived in a fantasy land where everything was perfect. They lived their golden generation. Everything was affordable. And there's times where I don't know how to explain this because you try to keep it as respectful as you can because sometimes parents can't be parents all the time. They're going to have different intakes, different belief systems, interests for their sons, and they don't know how to apply it to their sons. They just want you to do the things they wanted to do when they were young, and that was one of the biggest problems. I did things that I thought were right because that's what my indoctrination process has been always. But it was more my parents' wishes more than mine. When I postponed everything, when I restarted my life, a lot of things started to occur. I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. Regardless if I had a one night stand, in which I'm not like I don't see women as an object. Obviously my main mission was to find that specific girl because you want to feel love, you want to feel that special connection. Because one, shout out to Tejana, and I really hope he doesn't mind. Keep saying this thing, but because people were asking him about the escrow max, or hookups. Honestly, yeah, you can hook up. It does bring your mood up. Your mood can be extremely up just for hooking up, but it's not the same. When you have that connection with the female, it is a different scenario, right? But they, but when I learned about mixer and black pill, a lot of those beliefs were not the same anymore. Like, yeah, I like women, I like that connection, but you're always going to be. Sometimes it's mental seldom, but sometimes it's realistic, which I'm going to get to that part in a minute. You just don't trust the partner or the girl you're seeing because, one, you're always going to have that little issue that you don't have, you're not the chat, because I do believe women are still into chats, believe it or not. And sometimes women lower their standards, but it's because they're getting older or they have their single months, or even if they're single but they're my age, it's because they haven't found anybody. And it's like, well, I don't even know if you're trying to date me or trying to be with me. But honestly, once you start to make it all makes sense. It all falls in. I'm not. I'm not even like upset about not having a girlfriend or marriage. Cause I kind of happy that I found the MGTOW. Because honestly, there's more things to life. It's not just about forming a family. And so I didn't know what was going on, and that's where after the Mexico trip, I started to really have this fall of. When I said my cousin noticed, it's because I wasn't cheerful, I wasn't talkative. Even that my cousin came over, like yeah, like I made sure he was comfortable, I made sure he was having a good time, but he noticed that I was not even enjoying, spending time together. And it's not his fault. It's just that was these times were just different for me, and I don't feel like being a doomer or anything. And I had to look for a solution, so I started doing some meditation, some reading, some investigation. It's kind of like when you say don't just listen to Black and MGTOW. You gotta really know what's your personality, who you are, your interest again, what it was your things that make you motivated when you're in your early 20s. So when I was in my early 20s, I had some unrealistic goals that I know that were not possible once you learn about genetics, once you learn about your IQ, this and that. And so when I was young, I dreamed of having the nicest cars, a nice house, and by the beach, or a specific. I always been a guy who was very who enjoyed the city. So I always saw myself like in Chicago, because Chicago's not that far away. I always loved the city of Chicago. Having an apartment in downtown, just seeing everything and a lot of people say it's nothing special. It's just you're in a crowded area, and it looks very entertaining. It looks very what makes it attractive in the city is seeing those skyscrapers, seeing everything close by in a walking distance. There's more people, and probably because when I was younger, I thought I could have a very good love life or have that teenage love slash early 20s, kind of like what you see in the movies, but it's not reality. And after those dreams or goals die down, you just don't know where to go next. So that's when I decided, I got to do something about my mental health, and that's where, regardless of what people opinions or criticism towards me, I can't really I don't care anymore. I don't care what people think about me. That's when decided that I might need to seek some therapy help because I need to get some issues out, some doubts about myself. So I obviously, your traumas, how you were raised, if you didn't have the best supporting parents, you doubt yourself a lot. You don't trust yourself. And because I took therapy, but there was one issue with the therapist. This is the video about today stuff, psychology, the women. And I'm not saying about the women question. It's basically a lot of us men, we have this trusting issue because we don't know if the psychologist, just because they're a woman, you don't know if they have the best interest for men. But a lot of them are in there because they want to help people. And yes, looks is a different side of the story, which I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But a lot of times they're just going to be there to help you. Some people, yeah, there's times where each individual person of the therapist world, it's not going to be suitable for you. So you had to find the best one that can work with you with your specific issues. So I did some research. I went back, found this specific particular girl that I like her resume. I like what she works on. She is actually not a BS type of therapist. She is actually a legit, a little quite pricey. Not pricey, but we don't have insurance. They got to pay the full price. So you got to do this. Let's say that you don't like talking to someone else, someone that you never met, but if you're feeling quite overwhelmed and you don't know what's going on, I do recommend taking therapy help just to make sure things are not going to affect you in the later future. So what made me be more patient, more disciplined in this certain type of decisions or habits of seeking help? You just gotta find some loophole so you don't feel like you're obligated. One, I found this girl, Stacy Lai. We already know what a lot of people in the manosphere think about Stacy therapist. But if you don't try, you cannot just. Everybody has different experiences. Yeah, women are not going to tell you anything special if you're trying to figure it out why your dating life sucks. But so I took her, and I have another friend that gave me half price, and I take sessions with her. And here's something: if you're a Mexican American or a Latino, or not just Latino, let's say you're a European first generation, you're born and raised in the United States, you kind of have a hybrid culture. You need someone that can understand your culture because you can have some very well experienced therapists, but a lot of them are not going to relate to your specific issues, so they're not related to anything to the culture. They can study about it, but it's not the same. So I end up having these two separate women. One is a friend, one is a woman. The woman is the Stacy one, and the other one is like the high tier Becky. So when I started the first therapy session, she was great. I like her response. I like her answer. She's actually trying to work with me, just to get And the first bat, I was quite unsure. He was just trying to sugarcoat everything to make me feel better, and I kind of had to ask her this. Honestly, I don't really believe in compliments. I don't believe in this. If you see my IQ's decent, it's good or whatever. Because she said, she liked my IQ, she liked the way I expressed, but I just didn't believe it. Because you don't even know how people. You never know when people are just trying to play you. She said she wasn't. She is actually an experienced doctor in neuroscience, neurology, things like that. Which I don't know if I said the term correctly or not, but you guys get the point. So she was great when it comes to IQ, motivation to work or get out of traumas. She's doing actually an awesome job. And just because she's a woman, it has nothing to do with, she's trying to bring down a man. And the other Latina girl, because she lives in Spain, but we're both from the same genetic tribe, whatever. Maybe she's from a different land country, but it's the same genetic standards, if you know what I mean. I'm just using specific words. Gotta be very careful because I might get another strike on the channel. So the American therapist, she's doing great. The only thing they might deny, maybe because it's the Western world, and people think that it's. Well, I don't know, but the woman therapist from here, the English version, looks for them. They don't really believe in the looks because they have it kind of good at the time. This lady, she's quite attractive, to be honest. At the same time, they don't know what we're going through. So my Spanish therapist actually was more realistic, and she said some very black pill moment things that wow, I can't believe this is reality. So when we talk about the dating life, things like that, she said, unfortunately, you're right, and when you're right, I was shocked because obviously she's a psychologist. She said, you're right, this world looks is subjective. It's everything to most people everywhere. See, I don't agree with that. I don't like that, but it is the truth. Looks has always been something big in this human existence. It's biology, it's natural. So, yeah, that's a very black pill brutal that I got from this Spanish therapist. She was more realistic because she's in a different standard of the country, so she can say more things more brutal. And she's doing a good job. She's getting my self doubts out of the way and had me believe in myself again. So all of this, what I share with you, is therapy worth it or not? It's not about it's worth it. Can they help fix some of your problems? Probably yes. Do not expect they're going to help you with your daily life. And sorry about that. Excuse the navigation system, but anyway, when it comes to looks, dating life, neither psychologists, neither if it's the best psychologists, they can't do nothing about it because everybody knows looks is biology or part of the human biology. But anyway, just seek therapy help if you want to work on other issues that you've been dealing with, and I do recommend it, believe it or not. Whether you believe in different ideologies or whatever, but at least seek help before you make final decisions. So she kind of helped me started to have more ambition, more goals again. It's been a while since I've been doing these sessions. They work with you. They try to get some of these things out of your brain, things like that. So that's why I wanted to share this video. It's basically on my uploads. I mentioned that I was going to explain the psychology in women, things like that. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Whether you believe they're not in your best interest, at least seek therapy help. Like a lot of people are not going to like this video because it's different vibes to it. But I'm just trying to share out an advice to all my men out there. Some of us might believe. We have the black pill, we have the mgtow ideology, but it's not going to just be everybody defeated. Some of us are willing to make it out there. So still have a lot to work on, but my best is just work out, eat healthy, seek therapy help if we really need it to work on other stuff. But like I said, it's not a magic pill. They're not going to help you get a Stacy or anything like that. Some of them want to seek help because they believe that they need to fix some issues and they should be chats. That doesn't work at all. Therapy is not going to help you with relationships. I can guarantee you that, but it can help you develop other things like your IQ or the way you think. So that's pretty much what I have for this video today. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if not, it's understandable. Right now my mental health it's getting better, but it's not there yet fully yet. I'm not depressed or anything. It's just more of like there's no fulfillment, and I get a lot of questions asked. But that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys like it, and peace out. Happy start of the week, and happy Sunday. Peace out.